The wait is over. Fire Emblem Fates comes out next week.
It's already been released in Japan to rave reviews, and we can't wait to try it out.
I already have my hands on our review copy, and let's just say, get excited.
But before we all run out to get the new game, let's take a look at the series as a whole.
Only half the games were released in the Western market, so what are we missing out on?
Quick history. We actually probably wouldn't even be seeing Fire Emblem if it wasn't for Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Japan exclusive characters Marth and Roy were left in for the debugging process on international versions, and at the last second, developers decided to leave them in permanently.
Those characters proved so popular in Smash that Japan actually realized, maybe there might be a market for Fire Emblem outside of Japan.
So in 2003, the Western world got their first taste with Fire Emblem the Blazing Sword.
Known only as Fire Emblem here in the States.
This was already the 7th game in the series.
And it was actually the prequel to 6, The Binding Blade, which we've never gotten to play.
What?
So what happened to those other 6?
Japan-only releases.
No!
Our worst enemy.
No! God, please, no!
Fire Emblem actually started back in 1990 on the NES with a game called Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light.
Fire Emblem Gaiden followed 2 years later on the same platform, while the next 3 entries released between 1994 and 1999 on the SNES.
Poor sales of number 5, Thracia 776, actually pushed the game to the GBA console and away from Akanea altogether into a completely new area and new story, in a game called, you guessed it, Binding Blade. And hopefully that would be the last time we ever see those horrid Japan-only phrases ever again.
Hey, I got my eye on you.
Water Tribe.
Overall, the series was really popular, despite what region locking would have us believe.
The first 5 games in the series were popular both critically and commercially in Japan. So why didn't they think the West would like it?
For me, it's a taste always just beyond grasp.
No one knows.
Pudding!
Well, okay, someone somewhere knows, but that's not the point.
Because they ended up being wrong. Fire Emblem's first Western release was just as successful as the early titles. The 7th series installment sold over 300,000 copies in the US alone, almost equal to its sales in Japan.
There were a few low points with Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn as far as sales, but that was actually a problem featured across the board.
Critical praise was pretty positive, but the games were panned by fans for low graphics quality.
And, well, Radiant Dawn's ridiculous difficulty curve wasn't very popular either.
Fire Emblem would have tanked completely if it wasn't for the smash success that was Fire Emblem Awakening.
Crushed it.
Awakening knocked expectations out of the park as far as sales were concerned and put the Fire Emblem series back on track.
And it seems like Nintendo has every intention of continuing it with Fire Emblem Fates.
But, what about all those games that the West never got to see?
Can someone say remakes?
Back in 2008, the first Fire Emblem game actually got its second remake, first outside of Japan, on the DS, partially probably due in part to Marth's success as a character in Super Smash Bros. Since it came out in the same year that he made his second appearance in Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
It expanded on the original game and was met with success from fans and critics alike.
So basically, well, Nintendo and Intelligent Systems have already proven that Westerners would love a crack at the earlier games that we never got to see.
So give us more, dang it!
Seriously, you've got like 6 games to choose from. And I mean, who doesn't want to play the sequel to the GBA original?
Oh, man.
We got the prequel, but come on.
We liked Roy enough in Smash, so give us his game already.
So, well, what do you guys think?
So what Japan-only game do you want to see released internationally?
And tell us which Fire Emblem Fates game you're picking up next week. Because if we're one.
For those of you coming up to speed, Fates is releasing 3 games.
Birthright and Conquest actually come out together on February 19th, while the digital-only third story, Revelations, comes out March 10th.
The first 2 will tell the same story from both sides of the war, while Revelation shows what happens when you refuse to pick a side. I'll be reviewing the special edition, which comes with all 3, so keep an eye on Nintendo World Report for our full review.
And until later,
See you next time!